democratically chose two options. You gave me the option between Area 51, which is what we're doing today, and parallel or multiverse universes. So I really actually liked both of those ideas. But Area 51, I don't know, has a little more spectacle to it. So let's see what we can find out about it. Now, at first, I actually thought, and I hope you like the keyboard sounds, when I went to search, that I didn't know that much about Area 51. And I don't particularly know much specifically about that, but I did realize that I've watched, really through Joe Rogan, having on Graham Hancock and all sorts of other fringe academics and reporters, Randall Carlson, Robert Buvall, John Anthony West. I don't know if he's talked to David Wilcock. This gentleman right here, with the fabulously timeless haircut. His haircut is, I don't think it's changed much since he was born. But you can't judge a book by its cover. And he's actually, that was actually kind of rude of me to judge him like that. He just owns that haircut so well. I wish I had the courage to do that. I listened to this guy have a conversation with, oh wait, it was here. With Graham Hancock about, well, it's funny, it's the meeting of the cocks, I guess, about, well, the origin of humanity, secret origin. And there's a whole rabbit. I'm gonna really try hard to stay on track. I'm just trying to give you a context for my understanding of this. So, Graham Hancock is a journalist and author, and he writes anything about things, fiction and how do you, the threshold of nonfiction. He tries to accumulate facts in some of his books and extrapolate from them and posit, potential origins of humanity and more mystical elements of history, such as maybe the potential, the possibility of an advanced civilization that was on Earth 15, maybe even 30,000 years ago. So I think that's very, very, very interesting to me, especially when they have some evidence, such as Göbekli Tepe. And you know what? Göbekli Tepe. Look up some images for you guys. Which is one of the few sites to actually be verified by credible academic geologists and archaeologists to have been 10,000 years old. So 10,000 years ago in Turkey, which is not, of course, is modern day Troy. It's not, probably only a couple 100 miles away from where we think Troy was. 9,000 years after this, mind you. So it's definitely no wonder that perhaps the Trojan Wall claimed to be built, as we're learning in our expedition through the Odyssey, the adventures of Odysseus, that Poseidon himself built the Wall of Troy, which you can't imagine people would come to believe if they A, had no real written history, and B, had no scientific perspective of the world, and the world was more a blend of metaphors and religious imagery and a living world, really, that was very much infused with spirituality. So it wouldn't be a stretch for them. I really want to sound like Chicho right now. Chicho was awesome, and he just makes me feel like him, like he's saying right. It wouldn't be a stretch, right, to assume that these people during 1000 or 1500 BC looked back 8,000 years, and of course, knowing Göbekli Tepe had all this acres and acres and acres of these huge monoliths. It wouldn't be a stretch to think that perhaps in their view humans were less likely than gods to have actually created these monuments and therefore their own walls. And like many cities, maybe Troy was built and razed, pillaged, plundered, and destroyed, and then rebuilt on top of its ashes. No doubt intimately connected with the imagery of the phoenix. So, Area 51, which I might not call this episode Area 51, because so far 10 minutes have gone by and I haven't talked about it. I just want to say that I think there's a blurry line between where fringe, the word keeps escaping me. I want to say supposition, speculation. There we go, right? Speculation, right? And rigorous adherence to not speculating and just the facts on what we know. And I think science has its merit that it's very valuable to not overextend our certainty of knowledge. And there's so many realms, so many ways I can take this, but I think the great speculators who actually are as rigorous as one can be when speculating about such grandiose things as aliens and deep history, I think they're immensely valuable because they lead to more artistic, more religious, more spiritual, more philosophical, at a more articulated level, understanding of history and the world as we discover it. So I think it's always good to take into account and not be too certain that one area of exploration is sufficient explain the whole world. So, I just want to credit science and religion and rigorous, archaeology and fact-checking and logic, solid logic and mathematics with narratives and the human experience. And I don't think, I should be doing these, shouldn't I? I just don't think that one or the other has the final word yet. Wow, that was a doozy of an intro. And here I thought this would be a 30-minute episode. So, in the middle of the barren Nevada desert, there's a dusty, unmarked road that leads to the front gate of Area 51. It's protected by little more than a chain link fence and a boom gate and intimidating trespass signs. One would think that America's much mythicized top-secret military base would be under closer guard. But make no mistake, they are watching. Beyond the gate, cameras see every angle. On the distant hilltop, there's a white pickup truck with a tinted windshield on everything below, peering down on everything below. Locals say that the base knows every desert tortoise and jackrabbit that hops the fence. Others claim that there are embedded sensors in the approaching road. And of course, the fact that this speculation, I'm sure, does nothing but boost the aura of mystery behind this site. So what exactly goes on inside Area 51 is speculation. There are, of course, alien conspiracies that galactic visitors are tucked away somewhere inside. One of the more colorful rumors insists that the infamous 1947 Roswell crash was actually a Soviet aircraft piloted by mutated midgets, and the wreckage remains on the grounds of Area 51. That's quite a wild speculation, but I don't know, maybe I'm laughing because I'm secretly scared that it's true. Some even believe that the U.S. government filmed the 1969 moon landing in one of its hangars. For all the myths and legends, what's true is that Area 51 is a real and still very, very active military base. There may not be aliens or a moon landing movie set inside those fences, but something is going on, and only a select few are privy to what's happening further down that closely monitored, windswept Nevada road. And you know what? I have a little black book of secrets right here. Hold on one second, there we go. It's very, very the forbidden aspect. There are so many words in here. Here's an alias page, just in case someone asks me to open it up. Indecipherable text. It looks normal, but really it's very much encrypted. It's just there to fool you. Oh boy, I'm having fun with this. So, alright, I hate when it goes in and out. So the forbidden aspect of Area 51 is what makes people want to know what's there, says aerospace historian and author Peter Merlin, who's been researching Area 51 for more than 3 decades. And sure, there's still a lot going on there. Okay, so I wanted to flesh out as much as I can in this one episode the both sides of a very practical, very scientific, very objective, and dispassionate, skeptical of certain skepticism view, and also a more, I would say, a more believable. It's funny because these words are very interchangeable from depending on the perspective. If you're one that sees all conspiracy as goofy, or one that sees everything as a conspiracy. So from the one side, what is skeptical, could be thinking that it's skeptical to believe in all these alien theories. But on the other side, if you're one who is a conspiratorially minded individual, you might view everything, you might be skeptical of the public narrative regarding the truth. The accepted narrative, I guess. But anyways, I wanted to look at some of the evidence that Area 51 aliens are real. So, the wreckage says there are, so this is going to be a little biased because I personally, I've listened to Tom DeLonge from Blink-182, which, if you guys haven't heard about his departure from Blink-182, especially if you liked their music, you should go check out the Joe Rogan podcast with Tom DeLonge. And it is particularly claiming very matter-of-factly that aliens are here, and they've actually, in some way or some form or another, given certain people, and it would happen like that, but nonetheless it's hard to believe, certain upper echelon people in the government, specific, very special access to their technology, to bend space, just very advanced technology. So yeah, we have guys like David Wilcock, who actually, it's funny enough, oddly enough, although from an outsider like me, Tom DeLonge and David Wilcock are very much in the same boat, and they should be friends, but they actually, I guess Tom DeLonge is so famous and so popular that David Wilcock hasn't had the invitation to speak with him about this, which David Wilcock's been studying this for years and like decades, and so it's a little, I think a little bit of resentment, jealousy that Tom DeLonge comes in and steals his spotlight as far as alien investigation goes. But yeah, so we had Tom DeLonge from Blink-182 in the last year saying that aliens are here. Number one, Area 51, out of the 10 evidences that prove Area 51 aliens are real. Number one is that it's situated in the middle of the deserts of Nevada. And people from nearby towns have reported sightings of strange lights. As per eyewitnesses, the lights do not look like they're... Let me zoom in a little bit. They do not look like they're coming from fighter jets or other earthly aviation units. So, number two. This book is so done. While there is no official confirmation, radars have detected objects that fly with supersonic speed over that area. And F-16s or other Air Force planes are not supposed to fly at that speed, is what alien enthusiasts have to say. And here we have a picture of some very giant spheres. Discs, saucers, if you will, that look like they might be hard to identify when they are flying as objects in the air. Number three, this autopsy video. This is a video, really. Wow, that's very... I guess I should have warned you guys before that, but I don't know. I was watching Mad Men the other day with Molly, and the first wife of Don Draper, the main character, put on a fat suit. She's, her name's, January Jones. Very attractive, very good actress. And I actually recognized her from the X-Men, but also from Last Man on Earth, which I love that show. And she is skinny as a toothpick. And the point of that is that her fat suit, I literally had to Google it to see if, because I couldn't believe that they would make her do something so unhealthy as gain that much weight for her role, you know. So, come to find out, it was a fat suit, and it was so well done you wouldn't know. You simply wouldn't know. Oh. I'll show you. So I think that the aliens, at least pictures of them, could definitely be manufactured. Granted, I'm sure the technology is much, much better nowadays. Look. Yeah, look at this. So that's her in the fat suit. And it's just, I mean, these pictures don't necessarily do it justice. But she's relatively skinny. Not relatively, she's objectively skinny in real life. So that was her in season 1. That's what she normally looks like. And yeah, this was definitely a fat suit. It's just so realistic looking. I mean, where does the, maybe right there is where the fat suit ends, but still. So I think there's a lot more to prove. You got a lot more to prove than a simple picture. But I'm keeping an open mind because the Drake equation is pretty convincing to me that we have so many. We just have billions and billions of stars in our galaxy alone, just our galaxy, and they think trillions of galaxies. We'd be pretty darn special if we truly were the only sentient beings out there. So I just think a lot of this is hopeful, and I also think that it distracts from putting forth genuine effort to make the world that we do know exists and the people we do know are real and suffering, really suffering, and assuaging their suffering, So I'd like to focus on what we do know before we start speculating about conspiracies, but nonetheless I do think it's fun. So the corpse of the alien is believed to have been collected from the crash site. They came in and they grabbed his shirt and ripped it off and collected him. Number 4, the crash remains of Roswell. Of the Roswell incident were being secretly transported to Area 51 as the government wanted to study the technology that was used to make the aircraft. So, yeah. Number 5, which is more convincing, testimonies of ex-employees. Here we go, an ex-aerospace engineer, Boyd Bushman. So he's an engineer. He's not, that tells you that he's at least scientifically minded and is professionally trained to analyze a situation in terms of physics, mathematics, mechanics. But that doesn't mean his desire to jump to the conclusion that we are among aliens. It's a powerful desire. I think Carl Sagan wanted it too, but his famous dictum was extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. So this is a picture, an ex-aerospace engineer Boyd Bushman, who was deployed at Area 51 for a long period, has shared photos of a humanoid creatures that do not belong from this soil. In a statement, Bushman also confirmed that the staffs of Area 51 are a mixed bag of earthlings and extraterrestrial beings. Wow. Wow. Ex-physicist Bob Lazar, who was working, I think this guy is very particularly famous, very famous, who was working at Area 51. He had been deployed at the project of reverse engineering the alien aircrafts, which are captured and taken to the ground, to the underground vault of Area 51. And Lazar had to break his oath of keeping silence, keeping secrets of Area 51 concealed in his mind, and revealed strange facts. So, I mean, yeah, I guess it's hard to get to all the facts. And here, if we zoom in, it says the collocated structure, a shell 15 centimeters thick, a waveguider, a positron emitter, a gravity amplifier head, a seat. That's what it says, a seat. So it's just weird juxtaposition, I guess. All forms inside are smoothed for electronic charge retention. That's interesting. Maximum angle of lens effect. Wow, okay. Rings. See, this is the type of stuff that convinces me. So, but again, I think Carl Sagan was a great example to follow when being skeptical. Gravity waveguides. Focus ring stacks, same thing. Millimeter electromagnetic waves pulsed through the shell casing, and the extent of hull structured as metallized waveguide. Interesting, very interesting. Wow. And honestly, an alien interstellar, or at least, interstellar spaceship, it does make sense that to deflect the maximum amount of debris to be most aerodynamic and particle dynamic, I guess, space dynamic, you would want the edge to be as small as possible, the leading edge, and then taper up from there, so that the particles, it can slice through a field of particles. Let's back out a little bit. So number 7, there are video footages that show an ex-engineer working from Area 51 claiming that there were 4 live aliens who used to be stationed at Area 51 and worked alongside humans in the flying tasks of strange-looking aircrafts of futuristic designs. The engineer had worked there from 66 to 79, 1979. Okay, so in July 2014, a tourist named Sandra reported the sighting of a real UFO over Area 51. She had filmed the UFO's flight while she was traveling through the desert and was recording the area in her movie camera from the bus window. She spotted something fly real fast before she could even react. Then the object was gone. reviewing the film she had taped, she could realize that what it seemed to be a flying bird was an alien UFO in reality. In reality. There are many conspiracy theories regarding the kind of work that is carried out. Until 2013, the government never acknowledged the very existence of something called Area 51, although it was an open secret since for decades. Yeah, I don't think a native English speaker wrote this article. So many varied theories about the purpose of Area 51 make it very easy to believe that the base actually serves the aliens, or is used for alien-related projects. And that's a pretty cool picture right there of Area 51. Now this last one conflicts, just blatantly conflicts with the other article I'm going to go back to. Trespassers are supposed to be shot with heavy weapons without any warning. Such high security gives a notion that it has to be the aliens who the government is trying to cover up. But in reality, we are far, 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 far from a global community. We're global in the sense that we do interact, but we don't even trust our own government. How do you think the government trusts other governments? So of course, the security can be attributed to fear of foreign spies and foreign intelligence gathering. So I'm not convinced yet. So the beginning of Area 51 is directly related to get into the history of it. It's directly related to the development of the U-2 reconnaissance aircraft. After World War II, the Soviet Union lowered the Iron Curtain around themselves and the rest of the Eastern Bloc, creating a near-intelligence blackout to the rest of the world. Oh, it's a curtain. I was thinking of the metaphor as a wall. So if you lower it, that means you're open, but it's a curtain, so lowering it means you're closed to the rest of the world. So the Iron Curtain, the notional barrier separating the former Soviet bloc. Okay. And just so we know, so we're clear. Wow, look at that. Here's a good picture. And maybe this one's better. Okay. The route of the Iron Curtain Trail. So it's just east of Finland. It's on the eastern side of the Baltic Sea. So Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, East Germany, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, and they were all on the within the Iron Curtain. Wow. Okay. Very interesting. Is that? I wonder if that's a joke. Oh, bro. Wow. when the Soviets backed North Korea's invasion of South Korea in June 1950, it became increasingly clear that the Kremlin would aggressively expand its influence. America worried about the USSR's technology intentions, and ability to launch a surprise attack, only a decade removed from the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. So, anybody old enough, let's see, I start remembering things from when I was about maybe 8, in terms of like understanding more wide, not political, but more national and global events that happened. So anybody maybe born, or an intelligent kid born before that, later than that, but maybe 1993, definitely remembers some shape, some form of 9/11. And I like to put it in perspective. I like to put it in perspective of, 10 years. 1945 and 1955, or 1940 and 1950, is the same as 2001 to 2011. So, just, it's interesting to reference modern events and have a connection between those two times. So in the early 50s, the U.S. Navy and Air Force sent low-flying aircraft on reconnaissance missions over the USSR, but they were at constant risk of being shot down. In November 1954, President Eisenhower approved the secret development of a high-altitude reconnaissance aircraft called the U-2 program. And one of the first orders of business was to track down a remote, covert location and training for training and testing. So they found it in the southern Nevada desert, near a salt flat known as Groom Lake, which had once been a World War II aerial gunnery range for the Army Air Corps pilots. Known by its map designation as Area 51, this middle-of-nowhere site became a top secret military base to convince workers to come. Kelly Johnson, one of the leading engineers there of the U-2 project, gave it a more enticing name: Paradise Ranch. And here we have a nice little, I wonder where that font came from. Maybe some early sci-fi movies. But we have a nice cool little road sign. It says Extra-terrestrial Highway, I think, with a bunch of stickers on it. So, making a myth, the U-2 testing began in July 1955, and immediately reports came flooding in about UFO sightings, unidentified flying objects. If you read the details of a 1992 CIA report that was declassified with redactions in 1998 and then released nearly in full in 2013, it's easy to see why. Many of these sightings were observed by commercial airline pilots who had never seen an aircraft fly at such high altitudes. whereas today's airliners can soar as high as 45,000 feet, which is 9 miles, I think, almost 9 miles. Or in the mid-1950s, airlines flew only at about 10 to 20,000 feet. Known military aircraft, which is probably why a lot of the jets, modern jets, get much better fuel efficiency, because they're encountering less air resistance. I think maybe they're tapping into more powerful upper altitude climate, or not climate, but atmospheric currents, wind currents. So, known military aircraft could get to 40,000 feet, but 60,000 feet would have been crazy. So, naturally, it says, Air Force officials knew the majority of these sightings were U-2 tests. Oh, is that where the band name comes from? I just put that. I just connected that. I wonder. But they were not allowed to reveal these details to public. So natural phenomenon or high altitude weather research became the go-to explanation. What's also interesting about the most recent 2013 report is that it confirms Area 51's existence, while the 1998 version does have significant redactions when referencing the name and location of the U-2 test sites. The nearly unredacted version from 2013 reveals much more, including multiple references to Area 51, Groom Lake, and even a map of the area. But U-2 operations halted in the late 50s and were replaced by more recent, more technologically advanced military aircrafts. Of course, over the years, the A-12 and numerous stealth aircrafts like the Bird of Prey, the F-117A, and the Tacit Blue have all been developed and tested out there. More declassified documents reveal Area 51's role in the Project Half Donut, a 1970s attempt to study covertly obtained Soviet MiGs. Wow. And someone's quoted as saying, I'll read that later, I guess. So our resident aerospace historian Peter Merlin says they flew them over Area 51 and pitted our own fighters against them to develop tactics against the MiGs. And they learned that you can't outturn it, but you can outrun it. And it's still going on today. So instead of MiG-17s and 21s, there's MiG-29s and Su-27s. The fights are ongoing. In September 2017, an Air Force Lieutenant Colonel was killed under mysterious circumstances when his plane crashed in Nevada and the Pentagon would not immediately ID the aircraft. It seems he was most likely flying a foreign jet obtained by the United going to say experimental plane testing. And look at that, it's 41% only think it's not aliens. Still a roughly even ratio though, 60-40. So in 1989, the year I was born, alien conspiracies gained ground when Bob Lazar claimed in an interview on Las Vegas local news that he'd seen aliens and had helped to reverse engineer alien spacecraft while working at the base. Many have disregarded this as fiction and are even offended at the notion that, including Merlin, who has spent years talking with the former Area 51 engineers and employees, angered by all the fuss about ETs. Merlin says some are even mad because they worked on these things and they built these amazing planes. This is actually Earth technology, and you got folks out here claiming it's extraterrestrial when it's really good old American know-how. That's quite the quote. That's the one I was going to read. So here's a good. So we have the aircraft here. The aircraft base. Sorry, I was busy unplugging my keyboard so I could type on it. Yeah, we can see, runways, base facilities. Not really sure what this is. But mountains just run off from the rains. I was working at the Yuma Proving Grounds last, I think, two years ago. And, it's pretty secretive. It's definitely pretty secretive out there. So today, it's very much in use. According to Google Earth, new construction and expansions are continually happening. On most early mornings. Eagle eyes visitors can spot strange lights in the sky moving up and down. No, it's not a UFO. It's actually the semi-secret contract commuter airline using the call sign Janet that transports workers from Las Vegas's McCarran Airport to the base. As for what's happening these days in America's most secretive military base, few know for sure. Merlin has some educated guess, including improved stealth technology, advanced weapons, electronic warfare systems, and in particular, unmanned aerial vehicles. Very, very cool. Otherwise called drones. And then other classified aircraft. And the more exotic forms, I like that, of radio communication. Probably different ways of encrypting it and sending and receiving it covertly, and directed energy weapons such as different forms of focused lasers. That's probably what's that called? A redundancy. yeah, Merlin hits it on the head. Anytime, at the most basic level, psychologically, anytime you have something secret or forbidden, it's human nature. You want to find out what it is. And what a better way to end this episode with that little quote. I like that. I would like that, wouldn't I? So, well guys, I was going to read some of the Wikipedia article, but that article was pretty sufficient, and I have to get going to my job. Top secret. I can't be late. They locked down the facility at a certain time, and I must go. I must depart. So, my friends, thank you once again. Thank you to everybody who comes out. You guys show so much support, and I don't know, you guys keep the channel alive. I love it, and I'm so grateful for every single one of you. I wouldn't be doing this without you, so thanks for the democratic suggestion of this awesome video topic. I do love exploring these when we get to speculate. I love speculation, so I look forward to many more, and I hope each and every one of you sleep extra well tonight. And as always, I want you to wake up feeling refreshed, a good night's sleep. If you went out drinking last night, drink plenty of fluids, and try not to do it for a couple days. Clear your mind. Eat some good, healthy, fresh, non-preservative food. And I say that because Molly's been getting me to eat good, and I do notice it. I really do. You guys are all great, and I hope you tackle the world with as much piss and vinegar. I don't know what the phrase is, but I hope this helps you get enough restful, deep sleep to just go out there and be that person that you want to be. You know, fake it until you make it, and that's the only advice I could give you. I think each and every one of you, especially that I've gotten to engage with a lot of you on this channel, you all have something going for you in a very special